Hello everyone, it's Just a Dad. Today I'm going to do an unboxing, but mainly I'm going to show you how to install this Eufy Smart Lever Lock C33. I'm going to be installing it on this door right here. Now, I'm going to have to remove my deadbolt because the Eufy sticks up higher than the deadbolt on the inside. I forget what brand this was, but it worked okay. But the fingerprint reader doesn't work the best. So I will be taking this out. I got a blanking plate. And I'm not going to be drilling the holes or anything, so we're just going to be installing it where a door lock normally is. Okay, so here it is, unboxing it. Here's the two levers. They're kind of in there like that. In case you have to box it back up or if you're missing something. Here's the keys. Those are really important parts. And there's even more parts down here. And there's going to be a trick that I'm going to show you if you're having a problem. So there's everything. There's parts in here, batteries. Here's the door blanking thing I'm going to be using. I'm going to be filling the holes with these too. Okay, really important parts. For a left-hand or right-hand door, you're going to install that screw. Same with that. 3 screws, 3 little screws, a cover. Probably won't use this. Probably won't use that either. I will use a couple of those screws. Batteries, it takes AA batteries. Here's this bracket. This goes on the inside. See how tall that is? You know, I'm going to measure it for you right now because that's going to be a problem if you've got a deadbolt. But if you don't, so you need, from the center of the handle, you need almost 5 inches above it. There's what that looks like. And then this is what goes on the outside. There's the fingerprint reader. There's no camera or anything on this. Now, there's going to be a very important step. You're going to have to determine whether this is a left hand or a right hand. And then we have to install this really long, the step 3 screw in this part right here. So on my door, so look at the outside there. That's going to be a left hand. This is going to be a very important step. So I got a left hand handle, leave it in the left hand position, bring it inside. Make sure, we got to make sure the whole time that this thing is square. Okay, my little red thing is off there, but the main thing is you're going to have to look. Right here, there's an L and an R on that plastic. Since I'm a left hand, I'm going to insert this really long screw. See this where it looks like there's a short screw? That's for that side. So let's insert it. I want you to see if you can see that. Yeah, see the L and the R. So the handle's straight. This is square. Now tighten that down. You shouldn't have to force that. All right, there's going to stop. Now, this is the inside. So now match the inside to the outside. So when it goes on your door, this one's actually going to be on the right-hand side, but there's only one spot to put it. If it's either there or there, there's no screw hole here, but there is a screw hole here. That's the bigger screw now. It slides in there. And then same thing, we're going to tighten it down. All right, that's done. Now, this next step is super important. It's this. And I struggled with this for a while, and it all has to do with how far in you need it. Now, on my door, I need it to the 2 3/4. You may need the 2 3/8. You'll know right away. If you put this in and this won't line up with that, that means this needs to go farther into your door, which I'm going to show you this really important trick. First, I just pushed this button and tried to, you have to extend this collar. But there's a little switch here. And if you installed yours and it's not working, this could be the problem. Now, that little lever there, pull up, push that pin in. Now it clicks. I'm at the 2 3/4 spot. And now when this square thing turns, it's actually going to move this. I had installed it. It was like right in the middle. And when this turned, nothing happened. So my door wasn't working. So that's a very important step. So thankfully, I mean, you may not have this deadbolt, but I got to take the deadbolt out. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to take these screws out. I've got to take my door handle off. So let's get all this stuff off. This is a step you may not need to do, but this is the the blank for that goes in there. That goes on the outside so no one can like unscrew it. And then this goes on the inside. Okay, make sure you put this on first because this Eufy is going to go up above that. Just on the inside. The outside, I think, is fine. Now, you may have to chisel yours out. Thankfully, mine, that's a really pain to chisel out. And then I'm going to put a blank plate here. Now, that part I was showing you is about this depth. Mine takes that longer depth. You may not need that if this hole was closer to here, but I think this is the standard size. Okay, so put this in like this so that when the door closes, it's going to push it in. Now again, yeah, it should go in, it should go flush here. That should be right in the center. I'm going to reuse the striker plate. That's the same. Grab the outside. Take this plastic off. This is where you can put the key. That comes with 2 keys. But let's take the outside piece. Again, very important step right here. Make sure this is square. You don't want it up like that. You don't want it down. You want to make that square. Then you got to feed this through. It's going to be hard to do one-handed. I'm going to feed that through this top part here, which I'll show you when I'm done. But put that square there. There. And then the square is going to go in that. All right. Pull this through, yeah. All right, then that's going to sit. There is an O-ring. That's going to sit there on that O-ring. The outside part is done. Now we're going to screw the inside part to it. Okay, you're going to feed the cable, sorry. You're going to feed that through, the cable through, and that goes up. So it's a little hard to see, but there's going to be 2 screws, but these are the 3 holes, and it's a little tricky. We got to get these long screws, and we got to find the hole. And you just want to you got to kind of find it and make sure the outside is, yeah, it's kind of crooked right now. So I got to kind of hold the outside straight, and then you should be able to just start these. All right, see, I got them all 3 started, and they will just screw in by hand, but get you a screw gun and screw these down tight. And again, make sure I'm going to hold this. See, what I'll do is I'll hold that and screw that down so that's nice and level and flush, and get those 3 tight. Now grab the connector, line up the 2 red marks, and then I push it on right there till that's flush. Okay, now we're done with this, but when you put this on, you're going to need these little screws, these little bitty ones, and I'm going to show you where they go. But what I do is I normally you want to push that cable into the hole. You don't want it all sticking out. All right, and then you're going to line that, push that on there a little bit. Find the square peg. All right, and then the 3, you got to take the battery cover off. There's the QR code you're going to be scanning, but the 3 screws, 1, 2, and 3. It's a little tricky. Put the screw, it goes way down in there. And getting that cable, you want to just push that cable into that little cavity and then make sure you're not pinching it. Now, I recommend putting Energizer lithium. These will stand up to the cold. These are pretty generic. These will get you through, but whenever you need to replace them, use these because this is going to get cold. Even though it's on the inside of your house, you know, it just gets cold in there. So there's a layer on the bottom and on the top. And so anytime you see a spring, that's going to be the flat side. And then put this helps get the batteries out in the future, that ribbon. So do the back row first. Again, spring, flat side, or negative side. Spring, flat side, or negative side. Now the door will start working once you get the bottom row in. Where's the spring? Spring, flat side. Okay, make sure those kind of want to pop out. Yeah, see, that's enough voltage to get it going. Don't worry about that right now. Let's just finish putting the batteries in. Spring, flat side. See, there's a little, whoops. All the batteries are installed. Now, you want to make sure the door works. So I've been kind of propping the door open this whole time. If you don't have that little thing right, Miss Fiona's come. No, you can't get out. Oh, I guess. If you don't have that thing right, when you do this, that's not going to work. So if that doesn't work, you got to take this all apart. Because you got to take this out and make sure that little trick I showed you, push that little lever up and pull it out. So we're working. And the outside's not going to work because we got to do some work. We got to scan this QR code. We got to get the Eufy app. Okay, you've got to get the Eufy app. I really do like the Eufy app, but you got to log in with the username and password. Add a device. We want to add smart lock. And this is the C33. We're going to add it to my home. You can have different homes. I really like this feature. Next, and this, you got to give it access to your camera. And then you got to give it access to your camera and then scan that QR code. There. Now this is a whole setup video, which you could watch that. That might be better off, It might be better. I don't know. I didn't watch it. So I put it in. So now we got to hold that thing, that button. There's a button right here, reset button. Hold that till it beeps. And my dog hates the beep. So click this box here. I heard the beep. It's going to connect to it. There's going to be an update. You're going to pick what Wi-Fi you want. It only works on 2.4 gigahertz Wi-Fi. Select your Wi-Fi, give it your Wi-Fi password. This takes maybe a minute or two, but the biggest thing, it's going to have about a 10-minute update when it's done. And I think you have to do the update and you can't do anything else. So give it a name. You can do a custom name. This is the basement door. And like I said, this is where you set your password. You can't have just 4 letters. I'm sorry, numbers. That's what you're going to use, numbers. Now, you can skip this, but now it's time to add the fingerprint. I'm going to start the fingerprint. And so I'm going to do it like I would grab the handle. Oops, something happened. You only have a few seconds to start the process. Then you got to lift it up, turn. It wants you to do, kind of like an iPhone. All different things. Move it. Like, there. It's good. All right, and it goes through, what's that? Privacy mode. Okay, so that is on by default. This is the privacy mode. That's this switch here. So if it's in red, that means no one can access it, even with the code. They have to have the physical key. So if it's in green, that means the code, you can use the code out there to open it up. Done. What was that last? I didn't see. There's an update. And again, this takes a good 10 minutes. So up top, this is where you put the physical key in. If the battery goes dead, you can put the physical key in, or you can attach like a power bank. Like you were going to charge your phone, you could attach this. It's not going to charge that battery or anything, but it'll just power the system up to get you in. Then you can replace the batteries. Once you're on the inside, you can replace the batteries. So yeah, there's that blank cover. There's that cover. Wish these don't quite fit, but that's fine. Again, I didn't change this. This was okay. Yeah, it's taken a while. Okay, it's all done. Now, there it is. Again, it doesn't have a camera or anything with it. I wish it did. So go to the basement. Now it's unlocked, but then it's going to lock right away because it's on a time delay. You can go in and manage, integrate with doorbell or camera. That's kind of nice. Auto lock, see it auto locks on, and you can set the timer 2 minutes up to an hour. Okay. I really like the schedule function. Privacy mode enabled, wrong type, password, lock sound. So if your dog doesn't like the lock sound, you can at least turn it to low. Okay, notifications. Yeah, there you go. Main reason I did this video is because I messed up all with this part right here. Getting that to extend. See, there they show you. If I would have just followed the directions probably. Yeah, see. Push that little lever and then slide it out. That was my biggest problem. So I've had one of these for almost 6 months. Absolutely love it. I finally just decided to get rid of the deadbolt. I know it's not as secure. The thing with the reason I got this one is, or these type, is because when you close the door, they work. Deadbolts have to be dead on. And I've installed a lot of these deadbolt ones, and you know, when you close the door, if it's not perfectly, now deadbolts need more tolerance. They have a closer tolerance. So if the deadbolt's not perfectly lined, that little motor will go zzz, and it stops and it doesn't lock your door. Where these, as long as you get the door, these doors close very easy. It's gonna lock. The deadbolts, if you've ever had to like push in your door to do a deadbolt or pull out to get that deadbolt to go in, the deadbolt ones are not gonna work. I mean, they'll work, but you're gonna have some fits with it, because if you don't close your door perfect, it's not gonna go in there. So that's the reason I got these. It's just because they're so easy, and I do like the Fingerprint. I wish it had a camera, but it probably need a bigger battery or something. But anyway, I'll put links to everything I use in the show description notes. I bought this with my own money. It wasn't paid for this video, but if you use my links, the product won't cost you anymore, but I do get a small commission from the sale. It's a way of helping support my channel. That way I can continue to do these videos. Thanks everybody. If you could, please like and subscribe, and thanks for watching.